Hi guys, Solicitor of Harry. Oh, the Solicitor of Harry Applies to Red Eyes Talk Show. Today we are joined by a very special guest, Fabian Farquharson, the Upgrade Man. How are you?
I'm very good.
Cool, brother. Cool. Oh, the screen's just flipped off.
Yeah, it may have done. I've just altered something. Are you there now?
Yep, there you are. Yeah, so let's talk today a little bit about all your latest discoveries and experiments, and we're going to talk about aged urine and plasma. And plasma Gans, which things I'm looking forward to learning. I'm sure that people are too. So, with that being said, where do you want to start, Fabian, with aged urine?
I will say I do have some notes as well. So, like, we just flipped the screen then. So, if I have to go into the notes, then the screen might go. But I think the sound was still there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I could hear you, but not see you. Yeah, that was fine.
Yeah, that's good. That's what we want. Yeah. So, I'm gonna literally just go straight into this, right? And we'll just do this as a little bit of a free-for-all. I've got some stuff to present on my own channel as well this week, which is for the plasma, which is literally going to the next level of what was already previously explained. Because what a lot of people won't realise, it's really exciting, is that the plasma, in this precise moment in time, what's actually happening is it's being not trialled, but it's being used, like not secretly, but it's being used by authorities. They're using it, and they've been following it now since about 2011, and they've always known, that these applications are going to become available. But it's things like, if like for example, we could put two plasma fields together, and we could create fuel like instantly. But the corporations, etc., as we already know, right? They've had to keep a lid on it deliberately, because they make money through the matter state things that they use. In actual fact, it's a materialist mindset, but that materialist mindset it draws a lot of energy. So they are extracting a different source of energy, which is our plasmatic energy. That's what's happening. That's the way it works.
Are they using it for bad or for good? Or is it all bad? Is it all bad they're using it for? There is no good that they're using it for at the moment.
They probably will be. But I'm just going to say, I mean, so even like at this minute now, because of where I'm at with the plasma, I am now moving further away from those who are totally unaware, those whose fields are totally stagnated now, and they can feel static when I go around them. So even sort of your family members and so on and so forth, I can't communicate with them. I'm in a totally different plane to them now, and because of that, there's a massive static that takes place. But to answer your question, it is being used for good at the same time. Cool. There was they had the pig swine flu, and I think there's been other viruses that have gone around. You'll know them, all the viruses, the names, the SARS and the so on and so forth. And with the plasma, once we put it down in an area, what it does, it then goes in and it absorbs the issue. How does it absorb? I'll explain it to you really simply. It absorbs the issue. What I'll try and do is this. We'll get a little bit of the see if we can put up a little bit of a slide. Cool. Yeah. You'll have to bear with me, because what it is, I've got a lot of images on here now.
And we talk about plasma Gans is the same as plasma, right? Is it the same thing? When you say plasma Gans, plasma Gans.
It's the same thing. No. See, the Gans, the Gans isn't the plasma. So at the minute, the way that it works is this: we are in a matter state. The gases are in a fourth state, and then the plasma is in the fifth state. That's what's happening. Okay. But the plasma, the actual plasma itself, it's not. We can't see the plasma, because the plasma then doesn't reside. It doesn't reside. It resides outside
of this realm, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So because it does that, you'll just have to bear me a minute. Because it does that, yeah, it means that this is how we have issues, because what's happening where we are in this realm is that most things actually happen, but we can't see it.
Right. Yeah.
So most things take place. Most things that take place that are of great importance, we don't actually see them, and that is the issue. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to just alter what I'm looking at a bit so you can see it correctly. Yeah, and just come back to where you are. Right. So let's have a look. I should have been able to alter what I'm looking for now. Yeah. There we go. Right. So let's bring it up. So bear with us, because we're working with technology as it is. Right. Yeah. So you can see that you can see this, that what you're looking at there now is electromagnetic spectrum.
Right. Yeah, that's the sun, isn't it? The sun stuff. We're seeing UV waves, X-rays. And...
Right. So what we explain is this. At the minute now, we are in, like I say, the matter state. Now, what actually happens is this. The faster something vibrates, the faster something moves, the more energy it has. The less that it vibrates. So each one of our atoms, it's vibrating. So the way that this is working, if you see this sort of squiggly line, this wave effect above, you can see that where it says energy increases, and then energy increases and wavelength decreases.
Yeah, we can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So the way that things work, the more solid something is, the longer the wavelength is. So the more solid it is, the slower the movement of the wave.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So what that means, so the way that works is, where it says infrared, you can't see any of that. Where it says UV waves, you can't see any of that.
Yeah.
The only thing that we can see is a very small bandwidth here, which it says there, visible.
Yeah, that's a really good graph and very true. We only see a very small percentage of all the frequencies of light, and that's crazy.
So that's it. I mean, I continually always do these. If I'm not able to get all my get what I need to get across over, then I just continue to do these videos, because what we have here now is so key and vital. So I'll give you an example. Now you see this visible light. So when the crack of dawn comes, initially we get this red light, but that red light is born from this infrared light, which is known as IR. This infrared light, we can't see it. You can't see it, right? Yeah, but it has more energy. It has more energy, even though it's on the other side. So what's actually happening is, because it resides outside of the visible light spectrum, it has more energy. We've not realized, and we're going to realize this now, that everything is based upon energy. That is it. That is what it's based upon. So infrared light will reduce inflammation, remove pain, get the blood, get your blood moving, get the blood going, and it will do these wonderful things. Right. Now,
it does definitely. Just a quick one on that, definitely, because I'm well into red light therapy, and I know that people use red light frequencies in the machine that are invisible, and they do all the things you're saying. And in fact, they kick about long after sunset and a couple of hours before sunrise when it's dark, and because they're invisible, so they're very powerful. And people assume, it's just the sun is visible. No, you're right. That the infrared is very powerful stuff.
So the same way that infrared is very, very powerful, and that's on that side of the scale. If you go to the other side of the scale, so this infrared here is hot. This is heat, right? So heat is also energy then again. Now on the other side of the scale, you have the purple, which is UV. Now that's cold energy. It's cold energy. Yeah. So on that flip side, we have the cold energy. Now, that cold plasma at this side, it is. If you look at this scale here, you can see where, if you look at this wave, can you see where it's basically coming closer and closer until it gets to gamma?
Yeah, it's very compressed here. At the end, very compressed. Yeah.
Now, the gamma if you go to gamma 40 hertz, as soon as you go to 40 hertz with the gamma, then you can start to remove illnesses. You can start to treat massively Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, and in actual fact, it heals.
Oh.
That sound frequency will start to heal. So what we're saying is, what I'm saying here is this: once you've got to the UV waves, now UV it means 7. This UV, I do a lot of occult numerology. It helps you to determine truth. Now you here you have 7 colors. You have, we call it this 7 scepter. It's the 7 severing itself, because what happens is we become entangled within this light spectrum because it's all that we can see, right? So because it's all that we can see, we think it's all that there is to see, and that in itself causes us to become deceived by the very same light that we see on a day-to-day basis. So what I'm saying is this: once you get to that UV waves, the energy becomes much more powerful. Now energy is key in everything. So it's almost as though, which it is, it works in bandings. If you are a banding below and your energy is less, you have nowhere near the amount of applications and the power and the drive of the energy that is above. Now you could see that we are ourselves. I'm looking at, everything is a field. It's all fields. Now we are fields. We are fields. So if myself or yourself, now if we go and then sit around an individual that is consuming lots of heavy, denser stuff, right? They will be, now over the years as well, last 7 years, people have always tried to fight this and argue, oh no, we can consume what we like and we can do it like, but we can't, because we're a receiver of light. We're a receiver of light. So if you go around those individuals, if because they are consuming less light, because the energy that they are aligning with is much more dense, when you go around them, you will be much quicker and sharper compared to what they are. Your consciousness will be far greater. You will know more things. And this is because you have more energy. So this UV, which equates to 7, because numerology speaks the language that is connected to the core truth of things, and numbers also denote shape at the same time. So the way that it works is this: in 2007, it was found that cold plasma, because we're surrounded by plasma, we're totally surrounded by it. We've got some stuff we're going to look at here, where I'm going to be able to show, we can show that even previous civilizations in the past, etc., through geoglyphs, have tried to tell us about plasma, tried to show us about plasma in the sky. So with what they found is that they explained it in a really simplistic way. Now, because it's charged, so they call it, they would say to you these are charged particles, but they're not. These are fields of a very high field strength. Now, all these fields, but like I say, because we are in the light spectrum, we get deceived by the Maya. So we look at solid things and we don't realize. So, for example, the cancer also has a field. A virus has a field. A bacteria has a field. The bacteria is still
like a cell. Is it like a frequency that's very low vibration frequencies of disease, of cancers, viruses, airborne particulates, and all the bad things?
Higher than us. It's a higher frequency than us, than what we are in the matter state. That's why you can't get rid of it. That's why you can't get rid of it. You can't get rid of it because you have to raise our internal state of energy. Now, what we have found, which is what we know now to be a stone cold fact, the way that this works is through emotion. The soul resides within your emotional body. And through that, which I'll be able to explain, which we will see. You are the soul then pushes through the elements that are required. In order to restore balance to the body, not a healing or a repair. That's what it is. So what's actually happened is we were already in a perfect state. So I'm going to explain this breatharian thing and everything.
Okay.
Because a breatharian, you're trying to become an autotroph, but you are a heterotroph. They put you down as a heterotroph, which you're going to look at in a second. Remind me for context.
What is heterotroph and autotroph definitions?
So if you take the word H, the word H for human is the 8, right? Now the human means Homo sapien. Now a heterotroph. I'm going to go through this when I did etymology and syncretism on the word heterotroph, but I did it on the last one. It contains these ERs, right? So it's telling you that it's concerning you as spirit, right? So a heterotroph is an object like ourselves, an organism that can only obtain its energy from second-hand sources.
Okay. Right. Okay.
And autotroph automatically,
okay.
gets its energy directly from the sun.
And we can't, because we're heterotroph. We can't get it from the sun.
They've got us down as being a heterotroph.
Oh, they got us down. Okay. Yeah.
That's what we're down as. And because we're down as that, that's why the plant eats the energy, and then we've been taught to eat the plant.
Yes. Yeah.
That's wrong. That's wrong. So going back to that, with the heterotroph, right? I'm going to go into that because when I'm going to go straight into where I'm going to go into next. But I just want to continue just going on about this electromagnetic spectrum. Now,
sure.
the EMR, which is electromagnetic radiation, this spectrum, we think that everything is separated, but in reality, the way that things work is that nothing is actually really separate. It's actually separate. So even though we can't come outside of this visible light, we still can come outside of this visible light spectrum. The visible light spectrum is all things that are of matter, solid matter. So what I'm saying is, so things like viruses, your cancers, all of these things, right? They are born from reactive oxygen species. Now, the reactive oxygen species are fields that have they have a stronger field strength than our matter state, but they have less of a field strength compared to the plasma.
Right. So plasma is way more powerful. They're more powerful than us, so they override us. But then plasma is way more powerful than them, so we can tap into that, right?
Yeah. So all of the illnesses and everything that we have in the matter state, they are easily removed by energies that are far greater. So that is why with the cold plasma, what it will do is it will disinfect things, disinfect the air, remove bacteria, absorb viruses, absorb toxic radiation, because it is much stronger.
Right, that's interesting what you said, because I know UVC, which is present only in the tropics at very rare times, UVB and all those ones that do disinfectant too. And you're saying the cold plasma is in that range of UV waves. Did you say it was a little bit higher than UV, the cold plasma? Did you say it was the same? It's a bit higher than that. It's higher.
Yeah. Now the CO2 at the other end, absorbs the infrared. And then it vibrates, it absorbs it, and it causes the CO2 to vibrate. And then which creates a dipole moment in the CO2, which is a balancing point. Now, what they say to you is that, and I can't show it on here, I will show it on everyone. There's a guy who's done a real life experimentation. You can see it there, that the CO2 doesn't heat up objects afterwards. Because they're telling you that this is what the CO2 does, is the infrared. See, what happens is, the reason we get daylight, we get sunlight, is because what's happening is there's a sexual interaction that takes place between two fields. That's it. The field of the light of what we call the sun, which is calculates from heaven, which is a cold light. That sunlight is a cold light, and initially it becomes hot. Because when you come out of here, it's cold. This here is cold. So that's how it works. It's a cold light. But what happens is these two fields, the magnetic dielectric or the gravitational, they come together, and they have an interaction. Which then brings about the light, and then that also then brings. That's why you have convection. You have convection. So the hot air rises, and conduction, and you have this circular motion.
Right.
Now, our avatar is supposed to be, we're the same in quality, but not quantity. We are supposed to be having the same oscillation as the way the air moves in the system.
Just a quick one. When you say same oscillation, I'm thinking of the microcosmic orbit, almost like the Tao stuff they teach. Isn't that like a circular? I don't know if that's true or not, but that kind of like is a circular inside the body. Is that what you mean? Would you mean?
Yeah, kind of. So you would have. So well, really, then what would happen is you would then have a field. You would have a field. So then what that would then give you, if you then had a field, then that field will then start to reciprocate. It'll be like this. It'll be like that.
Okay. Yeah. Huh.
So that is your magnetism, your biomagnetic field.
Right.
And that field has to be made to expand. But we don't realize what we are. So because we don't understand what we are, then we don't understand that everything is based upon feeling. So we have all the codes within us. And we have to get out of our it's subtle. It's so subtle is this. Yeah. So when I say it's so subtle, it really is. So we are supposed to be if we can create it, like even when you go outside. So if there's oil in the air, that is going to bring your field down a bit. This is what's happening. Yeah. So the environment that we are in is all based upon emotion, or based upon higher emotion. Yeah. And if you can create, that's why we have like a yogi will go into a cave. Subconsciously, they know that, hang on a minute, this place, when you get on the really deepest of levels, see, this is the way that fields work. We can create negative fields. Yeah. I'm dealing with metaphysics. We can create fields. Yeah. And we can create negative energy in fields. We can create negative entities through buildings, corporations, companies, and everything. Yeah. That have a toxic energy.
Yeah.
That have a toxic energy. And that is what we have not fully realized. And we won't fully realize it yet until and like we're starting to now, is as we start accessing, we start to remove the stagnation, yeah, and move into the waters, into our waters, yeah. When we're moving to the waters, like I'm just explaining with the plasma, it has about many superconductors in it. So it's far more powerful than what we are currently used to. Far more powerful.
Does that include aged urine? It is by comparison, what you're saying over plasma?
Well, aged urine is a base, because aged urine is in a matter state. These fields that are in the atmosphere have been here before we were here. They contain more energy because they are not in a matter state.
Right.
Now, if we are surrounded by invisible vapor, so we take water. So what happens is, when you get ice water and steam, right? Ice water and steam, what they are is they're different ether pressures. So there's different pressures on them. But once it becomes a vapor now, an invisible vapor, now it's vibrating so quick you can't even see it. You can't even see it. But it contains it. But it now has a lot more energy. This is how we can get like a fuel cell with hydrogen. The cells that you can get. Like there was a guy, I can't remember the guy's name. Was it Bob Lazar? I think he talked about. I did some stuff on him actually. And there was a guy, and the government, they used him to make spacecrafts. They call them spacecrafts, but that's to get outside of this particular plane, and so on and so forth. And he went and he told everyone about it, so everyone was laughing at him. But then he started to power his sports car with hydrogen, because you split you take an electrode and then you ionize the water, and then you split the oxygen and the hydrogen. When they then split now, hydrogen is flammable, it becomes extremely powerful. They are now going, in the next couple of years, you will see hydrogen being used in the boilers. You will see hydrogen being used in the cars, because it doesn't leave a trace. The CO2 in the matter state, they're saying obviously it leaves this trace, right? But the CO2 is not causing any harm. How do I know this? I know this because I'm immersing myself with the superior aspects of nature. And this is what I have a big post to write on it. And this is what we need to do. If we want to, I'll say this on this video, so if we want to know about climate change, like they call it climate change, if you want to know the truth of your reality, what is really happening, then what needs to happen is, then you collect the fields of CO2, which is the same fields as what the plants are using. The plants are using them, yeah? And the plants are thousands of years ahead of us, which is why a tree lives for so long. That's why. When you hug them, you can feel it. They can connect with you in your dreams. There's a guy called Clee Baxter. All of this has already been done. A plant has memory that lasts for 40 days. It lasts for 40 days. Yeah. This is the way that it works. So that's just touching that on that area there. Yeah. On the plasma. So what I'm getting across here is the illness and disease doesn't even really exist at all. It only exists in this lesser matter state that we're in. Right. Once we move towards the plasma gaseous state, plasma gaseous state, then it cannot survive within. That's why we say, we're alkaline, and so on and so forth. Yeah. See, what happens is the soul will provide the actual body what it needs. So if calcium is required, then it will draw that. It will draw it. It's how it works. It's all working through our actual bone network. Yeah, that is the way that it is. So any illness, anything that's incoming. So even these electromagnetic fields that are coming in, they are working off a wave, which is, we call it transverse, right? It's electromagnetism. But the wave that they are working with, yeah, is a wave that can be, it's absorbable, because they are not working with the superior forms of energy that reside. This is what I mean. So at the minute we feel as though we've achieved it, but we haven't yet. We feel as though we've achieved it because we've done some fantastic things and we've been awakening and everything else. But this realm is infinite. It's limitless, should I say? It's limitless. So the levels of advancement that we've got, they're also going to be limitless at the same time too. So I'm going to show a gentleman sent me today on the plasma, and it was the same as what I first found. As soon as I started taking it, it sort of spoke to me and said to me that you don't need food at all. It goes straight to your emotional field. It goes straight to your emotional field.
And your emotional body and emotional field is more important than your physical, right? For sure.
Yeah, the emotional field's governing the it's governing the physicality. It's governing the physicality. So and that's what. So before we'll go back into it. So that's how it works. So if you've got a millimeter wave, you've got anything that's coming in, like sort of 5Gs and all these sort of things, right? All of these wave effects and all of these hydroxyl radicals. You see the ROS. We're going to realise that the ROS is massive. It's the reactive oxygen species. See, they wouldn't have realised the threats that are incoming. Don't realise they think that you don't know about the next level, which is the metaphysical phase. If you don't know about the fourth and fifth states of matter outside of visible light, then you will become at risk, because you cannot see what is causing your negativity. You can't see, because the ROS, the fields of ROS, have a slightly higher field strength. So if you were trying to get rid of them with lesser matter state, sometimes you may have issue with that. Because you're only matching the field strength of the ROS. Right.
You can't fight you can't fight fire with fire. You've got to use something higher power almost. You've got to go higher.
Exactly. Exactly. So literally what you've got to do is then go to the next level. So if you look at this image here, that there is fibroblast plasma.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
And what part of this is he's got holding some kind of fiberglass? Is it very small thing?
No. That's lightning.
Oh, okay.
You see lightning in the sky. The light, that's plasma.
Oh, but lightning. Okay, cool. Yeah. Lightning's plasma. I didn't even know this.
And it's fully conscious.
Huh.
It's fully conscious.
Huh.
These are the things we're going to learn now. Tornadoes are fully conscious.
Huh.
They come, and they come about because of we creating static, and we don't realise that we are tethered to this realm. So if you increase your personal field strength, when you go out into the sun, you will now be able to start to pull in those infrared fields even more than you could do previously, because you are on field.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So that by the way that is done is by accessing this plasma state, which is continually compounding and more energy. But what this does, it takes this is how we're connected to this realm, tethered. It takes the voltage out of the air, yeah. Then the lightning and the voltage then come to the skin, yeah, and then they actually remove. So with wrinkles, people pay a lot of money to have this done using plasma. See, this is what I mean. This is fibroblast plasma, but they're not telling us. This is cold. It's not hot. What it does is it removes the wrinkles, so it removes aging.
Whoa.
Straight away.
Yeah.
It takes. Do you know what it does? Because it takes away the oxidative stress. Because it takes away the ROS.
Is that free radicals the same thing as ROS, by the way? I think it's
yeah. The ROS is a free radical, but I think it's a free radical. But you see, from some free radicals, we need them and they're good. But the ROS is a higher grade. It's a higher grade of free radical that is actually
detrimental.
As a reactive oxygen species. But why does it do that? It's because oxygen oxidizes. Oxygen oxidizes. So the only reason we are dying, etc., is for a lack of knowledge. But you will be oxidized if that is the case. That this place is a realm. This labyrinth is a school of learning, but it is a supreme game for an immortal being to rediscover itself. So that's why I was just showing that with the fibroblast plasma. And Nikola Tesla would also this probably would have came from Tesla. Nikola Tesla was using a very similar sort of device, which I showed in my last presentation, which he was carrying around with him. He carried it around, right? And it would heal heart disease, loads of illnesses. It disinfects the skin. You're using UV to disinfect and remove negativity.
Isn't it funny? Because they say to us the UV light is very dangerous and it causes cancer, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Saying it to you on purpose, because what happens is we have elements that are around us that reside in total perfection. They reside in total perfection. Like when I put, like my partner, she had this neuropathy, because I've been working on sort of healing her, like another experiment of mine. I always talk about it. I have these experiments, and she has been an experiment, a real live experiment. She just let me show, but her feet were massive, blown up. The age during, the fruits with the juicing with the hemp and everything else. Yeah, the plasma state, which is what I call it. As you become more sensitive, if you just use plasma, if you just use the light plasma, then the phosphorus inside it will start reconfirming to your DNA. Start reconfirming to your DNA. And all of these things are building up to your soul, taking over your physical body. And that is an occult thing that is real. And that is what I teach. What I'm teaching is that your soul wants to take over your lower matter state body. Now, it wants to do that because there's magnetism. Yeah, it's magnetism. And that's why you see involuntary things that are coming in, like the smells, sounds. There's some of the things that are happening to you that are involuntary. And it's through magnetism, between the brain, magnetism, and the nerve. And that little booklet that I had with Tesla, that's what it was showing, how the nerves, how it runs all the way down the spine. So you're using magnetism to then control the nerves. That's why when you pick up an object, if it looked to be a heavy stone but it was hollow inside, you'd go to pick it up and it would be light, but then there would be this extra force that wasn't needed. It's because due to magnetism, sending it to the nerve so that to give you the additional force that is required. Yeah, that additional force is coming from magnetism. We call it vril. These are superior bodily forces. So that's that. And I just wanted to then just go straight into this one here. So if you see this slide here, if you see that image there,
right? Yep. You can see it. Yeah.
So that is that's the phosphate ion.
Right. And that's part of the phosphate ion that's in the plasma, right?
No. But
No.
I'm going to go back to now. This is the urine. I'm going to go back to the age urine. Sorry, I'll move a bit quick, don't I?
Okay.
So I'm going to go back to the age urine now, and the reason is because age urine is a base for us ascending to using the metaphysical elements, because they work. We work with it. They work with it phenomenally. Since I've been using the plasma, then my age urine protocols have increased drastically as well. The quality of the age urine is far, far better as well. And the intake of age urine, we're able to do more of. But so what I found is this. We know, I've said now, phosphate is within the urine, right? As phosphorus, it is a light, right? But if you look at this phosphorus now, what happens is it has these four red dots are oxygen. Yeah. So it's encased, and inside it is your P, which is the phosphorus, which is the light. But it works with the oxygen. Now, guess what it does? The phosphate then goes directly linking with the hemoglobin. That is what's giving you the extra capacity to breathe. Right.
Okay. Increased oxygen from the phosphates giving you increased oxygen capacity of the blood and the hemoglobin.
There's a phosphate aligns with the hemoglobin.
Okay, with you. Yeah, and that slows the breath down. That's where we get the instant deep breathing and chill from the age.
Yeah. Through the phosphate. Yeah, and what does the phosphate do? Yeah, energy currency. Yeah, building back of DNA. But what actually happens, the way it works is that the calcium, your parathyroid hormone will release calcium, into the bloodstream. It will also, but the way that it does it, and this is what I was saying earlier. I'll go back to the autotroph and the heterotroph. This is the most important thing. Energy, it is all energy. When people are eating, this is what's caused our issues, because everything contains this phosphate. Now, the body, it's only trying to get to elements. And this is why when you go to the next stage, which is the gaseous state, you are only really now feeding the avatar with those elements.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because gaseous state is a much higher frequency and less matter, isn't it? A gaseous state.
If we go back to what I was saying earlier, it's vibrating faster.
Yeah.
So what am I doing? What am I doing now? Now I'm vibrating faster.
Yeah.
Because I am it as well. If a massive negative, and then as we start to vibrate faster, the external starts to have less effect upon our internal state, because our emotional state is being risen.
Yeah, with you. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah,
it's being risen up. So the way that this works, which is amazing, right, is that the parathyroid, you've got this PTH, which is your parathyroid hormone, right? Parathyroid hormone are 4 glands that reside within the thyroid. So what that will do is it will release it releases osteoclast, which is the bones. Everything I'm explaining now, it costs energy. This costs currency. It's a cost to the body. It's costing. This is costing the physical body, right? But with the plasma, you won't have this scenario. So what's actually happening is, if we need more calcium into the blood and more phosphates, then the osteoclast then starts to reduce. It uses a hydrogen ion to release it from the bones. It then puts it straight into the bloodstream. Then what happens is it comes down to the convoluted tube in the renal area. Yeah. Then what happens is it reabsorbs the calcium. This is what happens with some of the amino acids as well. Reabsorbs the calcium, but it releases the phosphate.
Okay.
Every time. So what's actually happening is that the actual avatar body, it is trying to get you to constantly continue this oscillation, because it releases phosphate, but it tries not to release. It doesn't release the calcium. The calcium goes back in. We now know that this phosphate contains a serious amount of energy. So when you drink it, what you are doing is you're re-topping up on phosphate. But what you are doing is you are increasing your internal energy. That's why if you see where it says this, if there's a little pyramid here,
Mhm.
there's a little. Can you see where it says methane fuel? There's a little pyramid. There's a little
yeah.
block.
Yeah, I've got it. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bit
So
middle right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that has the same geometry.
Mhm.
Has the same geometry. Yeah, but it's a fuel, and we can also use that methane, CO2, and water. Yeah, with plasma. Yeah, to create a fuel at the same time too. But this parathyroid hormone also stimulates the vitamin D. That'll stimulate the vitamin D. But the parathyroid hormone PTH equates to 8, which is balance. So the parathyroid hormone is constantly trying to then recreate internal balance. Yeah, that is how it works. So that's phenomenal. So that's why when we're going back to this heterotroph here, this is what's happening. We are obtaining secondhand energy. Yeah, that's how it works. So when you eat a plant, when you turn around now and you start eating a plant, right? Or when you eat anything or any other animal or whatever it may be that they're eating, right? You are only able to, the animal draws the first source of energy, yeah, and then they are then eating that. Whereas with a plant, it is instantly drawing its energy straight from the light.
Yeah.
That's why we eat the plant. So when you eat the plant, then you are then literally kind of stealing that energy. But you are, even though we could say we're stealing it, that's how nature works. So what happens now? They've got you down as a heterotroph. So now that means that you are getting you're looking to draw all of your energy now from second-hand sources. What that means is you are getting a less quality grade of phosphate.
Oh, I see. So you're still getting the phosphate, but less quality if you get second-hand.
Well, you're not going to get as much anyway. Because all the things that you have to eat in the matter state, have to be broken down by the breaking down process starts in your tongue. Your tongue is a plasma turning device. That's what the tongue is. So the tongue, it's trying to break down what you eat is being broken down into the finest, smallest elements, the smallest elements that go through the bone network. Yeah. So imagine how much hard work is going into play. Yeah. That's why you have underactive, overactive thyroids and so on and so forth. So what's actually happening is that's why we have the vicious cooked food cycle. That's why I call it that. Because then we're having to constantly eat to try and redraw back the energy that we've lost. That scenario, for example, with the parathyroid hormone, when you are drinking your urine, when you are then drinking aged urine, for example, you're then creating a balance, and this parathyroid hormone can ease. It's not having to work nowhere near as hard now.
Like we said earlier as well, with it, aged urine gives you that infinite energy which you've got inside you and recirculates it, allows it to come to prominence. Then the aged urine does that, activates it. Your own power, right? Your own power from within.
Yeah, the aged urine then activates that, and then you have the other thing with the black people that realise with the nitric oxide, which is again the nitric oxide again. We have not realised this, but when we are breathing, it's nitric oxide. This is why we have to breathe through the nose. See, it's the nitric oxide that opens up the arteries, to allow the blood flow to go through. Erectile dysfunction is basically coming from a lack of nitric oxide.
Yeah, I'm with you, brother. That I've heard a lot about nitric oxide. I think you're right that people think it's a waste product, but actually, it's, you just said it. You nailed it. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, it's good.
I can show you on here the nitric oxide. It's actually phenomenal, and it's also a transmutable element. I always talk about lately about transmutable elements, things that are transmutable.
Yeah, just a quick one on nitric oxide. That I wonder what your opinion of this is. Apparently, you need for oxygen to go into the cells from the blood. You actually need nitric oxide. That was a theory that kicked about in '94 or something. Do you reckon that's possible? You actually need nitric oxide in order to get oxygen into the cells?
Yeah,
that's correct.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, because there's something you do actually need that, because it's a cytochrome that blocks it. That cytochrome blocks it, so you need the nitric oxide. The nitric oxide is the out of the three, the CO2 and then the oxygen. Then you need the nitric oxide is the key.
Yeah, I like that.
It's doing the nitric oxide is doing some absolutely phenomenal things. it is just out of this world. That's why I've got this board here. But we'll do things a little bit different. I've got a little board here anyway, and you can see that on this board here, right?
Right.
If you just see that there, right? The way that things actually really do work, right? The nitric oxide, like I say, resides that the nitric oxide is triggered from the brain, right? Then the way that it works is there's something called L-arginine. Yeah, I'm going to go through this in a minute. L-arginine. All of this I'm going to show you is in your urine. I'm going to show it now. Right.
Cool.
Now this L-arginine, boosts blood pressure, focus, sex libido, burns fat, muscle growth, everything. But it transmutes into nitric oxide.
Oh, right. So that's the one that makes nitric oxide before. It's the stage before nitric oxide will transmute into it.
Yeah, it literally turns into nitric oxide. And what it does, especially for a male, what this does is it improves your sex drive. It improves sex desire, and it also improves sex sensation. But it also works phenomenal on the heart, and it burns fat. Yeah. So basically, it's energy. So this is why I always say to people, see, your 9 here. This here is your root, where your urine is.
Right. Yeah.
It's based on sex. It's based on sex here, and the taurine also promotes your sex drive, because what it also does is it removes the free radicals. So what I'm doing here is this. I'm teaching people that you need to create a launch pad and your base, which is the earth here, take you straight back up this way. Now I don't think I've done that Alfina justice. Reason is it actually does some super fantastic things. But both of them together, they are the same thing. The nitric oxide, and the L-theanine. They are connected, fully connected as one thing. But but if you imagine, what it also does is it helps you to grow your muscle, because it's the way it works. It's literally stimulating everything, and it's making it so that you can get your nutrients and everything quickly, really sharp and fast. Like I did a post yesterday. I was talking about the taurine, and the taurine. Yeah, it reduces your body mass index. Yeah, it is the one that is responsible for making sure that your mitochondria performs to its optimum level.
Cool.
Yeah, seriously. Now, if you look at this chart, this here, I don't know if you can see this.
Right.
Can you see this here?
I can, but I don't know if everyone else can see the words, because it's really tiny, and I'm on a big screen.
Blow it up a bit.
Yeah. That's it. That's better, mate. Yeah, I can see that.
Right.
A bit.
Now that's what's in the urine.
I can see that.
Now that is what is in the urine. Those are all the amino acids that are in the urine, and they have to be in there. I'll tell you why they have to be in there. I'll show you why. The reason why they have to be in there. Yeah. Let me see if we can get the other one up. Yeah, 1 second. The reason why they have to be there is because they are within the body. So the way that it works is it will let me just show you this one here. This is something called amino aciduria. It's a normal amount of amino acids in your urine. Abnormal. In your urine, they should listen to this. This is amazing. There is a balanced amount of amino acids in there. They should be not. That's why I was saying earlier about the calcium. There should be phosphates, but not much calcium, because you need the calcium. That's why. That's what. Again, the taurine is helping to make sure happens. Is that the calcium stays inside of the cells and so on and so forth. Yeah, that's how this works. So these God amino acids, like I was saying with the GABA as well. The GABA is also in there, and what is the GABA going to do? The GABA makes sure that you don't have any addictions.
Right.
That's the way it works. So all of these, this list that I've got here, the other list that I was showing you, is the things that are within your within urine. So what I was just talking about, what I've just been speaking about, and And here, there you can see there's the arginine at the top there.
Yeah.
If you come down here, you got your glutamine and so on and so forth, histidine, and then you can see there you've got your taurine.
These are the ones that people take in protein powders when it's all in the urine anyway. And these are all the protein powder shit.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is, you see all these things that people are taking, they are not, it's all about the quality. It's the quality of it. You'll not get the quality of it. You're going to get bulking agents. You're going to get all sorts.
Yeah.
But the quality that you're able to get is far, far greater quality. Your body, you are plasma. So you are plasma. So when you expand your field, the quality of my urine, once I've done all my practices, is far, 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 far better. Far, 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 far better. And it's far, far more powerful. So the quality of the amino acid that is in there and everything else.
Very interesting. I don't take you off topic, but quickly. So if yours is higher quality, would you advise yourself? Would you give it out to somebody only in a worst case, or would you just let any guy take it, or because yours would be very high quality, or would you not? Would you have issues with that? Would that create issues with them? You take too high quality, like you're saying, if they took it.
No, they could drink. Anybody could drink my urine, or and so on and so forth. And I know that if they was to drink this urine, then they would have an absolutely fantastic experience with it, because again, what I was saying is, it's cold. What I'm doing is I'm creating, which I've got an experiment here to show you this. I'm deliberately creating a cold aged urine from the plasma state. If I've got debris in there, because as a heterotroph, you've recycled it. You are an actual heterotroph, so that means you are there to draw second-hand energy. You are not first in line by the sun, because remember, the plants are working directly, converting light into CO2 and then using it. But that's what we can do now, though. That's what we can do, and by doing that, more applications become available to us. So this one here has got the shorter wavelength.
The cold plasma, correct. The cold plasma is past the UV rays and colder, a lot faster, like gamma fast.
But what I'm saying is, I'm talking about your aged plasma. I'm talking about the aged urine. I'm talking about making your aged urine, making the aged urine do that. Yeah. Right. So one of the ways I'm speaking about doing that is how I'm making aged urine do that. So here we have some aged urine. Right now, you'll have to bear with me because we're going to do some experimentation on this. Cool. Now here we have hydrogen. Yeah, my heart at the minute is almost bursting straight through my chest.
Why is that? Are you excited? Excited about what you're saying?
Oh no, it's not. That is because what I did is I conducted this bow and arrow effect. I stayed dry. Yeah. I've stayed dry until about 4 o'clock, right? And then what I've then done, I've then accelerated massively, because I've then used, what I've done is I've drunk, I've drunken like 400 or 500 mLs of CO2, which has a ridiculous amount of superconductors in it. This is remember, so the other thing we'll explain, this isn't measurable, but everything in a matter state, we're going to look at ormus and aged urine in a minute. Everything in a matter state is measurable by its pH. Right. The plasma, the gaseous plasma, is not measurable by pH. You can't measure it, but when you intake it, you can measure it with other equipment. When you take it, then you will feel it massively. Right. I took too much last night. When I take it, I instantly go into a meditative state. I turn into a plant.
Whoa, that's amazing. So it's more powerful than urine. And your heart. Yeah.
It's way more powerful. It's different. It's not there is no more than. It's different to aged urine.
Different energy, much higher frequency of energy, much higher frequency.
Yeah, it's going straight to your soul. Straight. I can do a lot of magical things with aged urine. I do a lot of things that help me to come out of this realm and to experience a lot of things. I know what it's like to be a bird, a plane, a bird, a tree, everything. Yeah. Birthing. Birthing. I had a mad experience on birthing the other day, and I know that as we birth, as we come through, we're supposed to come through in water, but we don't. And there's a moment there where you can, as you come through here, because this is just a game. You come through as the soul, as a portal. You're coming through a dark hole, which is a black womb. When you come through, you exit. You see, we watch too many films, all these Matrix films. When you come through, you exit into this Matrix. and you exit into this matrix for a split second, you see, you fall into the matter state. When you unwind and you fall into the matter state, you lost lots of energy, but you are still the soul. What this plasma is going to do, and this is why it's so exciting, this 2020 as we come through, what this plasma is going to do is introduce people directly to their soul, because it feeds the soul. And your emotions become more mature. You can feel that you don't want the issues. And that's what I was saying earlier with my partner. I think I might have skipped it a little bit. She had the neuropathy in her feet. We was able to get that out with the copper oxide, which we'll have a look at in a minute. And you can feel the fields. I had an issue with my hand here. I had an issue with and I had this issue with my elbow. And I put this patch on my elbow and I forgot that it was there. And I left it there. And it took the pain away. But what it does, you can feel it pulling away at the pain. You can feel it. Because remember, it's just nerves, sensory nerves, that are controlled by magnetism and gravitational fields. That's what is actually happening. It's meant, our body doesn't work nothing like the way we think it does. There are layers in our body that contain different field strengths that are aligned with different elements that are outside of this realm. It's outside space. And that's why they have to make it so toxic, because otherwise you will expand. So I just wanted to show you, see, so this is the aged urine.
Okay. Yeah.
This is the light. Now this aged urine here only comes from the plasmas. So the fruits, for example, they have then obtained that straight. They are then the tree obtained that light. Yeah, its energy then, its energy, plasma energy, was then able to burst through. It's like bursting. This is where you get the fruits from. So this is like it's burst of energy that it's giving towards the superior beings like yourself. So then when you then eat that now, this then will contain a clear, an organic energy signature, right? So then what I would then do is, what I want to show you is create a mixture, because it burns. When people use this up the nose, usually for them it burns. Now what I'm going to do then is two seconds. Let me just get Just get my switch. Here we go. Right. So we've got here. You have to bear with me because I've got lots of stuff surrounding me.
Sure.
Okay. Live experimentation.
Cool.
Yeah. And in a minute, in a second, I'm going to show you. To see people. Some people, because almost, you see, that's how things get confusing out here. Because some people think you can get CO2 from almost, but you can't. And I want to explain to people, because in the plasma, so we don't like the idea of, because the almost can be a dangerous way of messing about, right? We're not doing that here. We're creating magnetic fields. When we create magnetic fields, we use nano coated plates which can interact with plasma fields, and they pull them into the water. We don't drink caustic or get too close to caustic. We only use sodium hydroxide just to create plates. I'm going to be teaching all of this on my channel. Cool. But so I wanted to just show. So there's your aged urine now. Right.
Yeah.
So now when you've got your aged urine here now, right? I've got the old test we already know I can get up to 600 negative charge on it. Yeah. Negative charge.
Meter.
Yeah. Now what happens now is this. When I take these two hydrogen, I recommend these hydrogens. So these are the strongest on the market. These hydrogens have. Different to my machine. It's not the water machine. This is a very powerful form of hydrogen. That machine is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. The hydrogen water.
You're talking about a hydrogen water machine you've got there. You're pointing to. Wow, cool. Yeah. Very cool.
What I'm speaking about is this. This is so you see that the hydrogen water.
Yeah.
So because hydrogen is so small, again, hydrogen is so small, it will escape. So it has to be in one of these. This bottle means it stops the hydrogen from escaping. Yeah. So that's the hydrogen water. The hydrogen is going to every one of the organs, make sure that it's all working properly, and it's looking to create a balance within. In the matter state, so we can ascend. How are we going to ascend? What we're going to do is this. We're going to take this pH 9 aged urine, and then we're going to take this molecular hydrogen. There will already be some type of hydrogen in here, put this molecular hydrogen in. Once I put that molecular hydrogen in, you'll see this instant reaction. That creates a fire, because in order for hydrogen to come about, a fire takes place between. That's how it works. The oxygen and the hydrogen creates a fire, and then that creates a water. That actually creates a water. So you got fire and water coming together here. Now, whilst that's on that go, what I then would do is this. I would then take this here. I have to be gentle with it. There's not much water in it at the minute. I need to fill it back up. It's CH3.
CH3. What's CH3? I don't know.
This is carbon and hydrogen.
Okay.
This is a superior form of energy, like you would not believe.
Okay.
But it's plasma of hydrogen. So remember, when I started, I said to you about things in a matter state. Now, this hydrogen I've got in here is in a matter state.
Right. Okay.
It's not vibrating as fast as this hydrogen.
Okay, I'm with you. Much higher vibrations. Cool.
Much higher vibration. And that's coming from, you've got your nanocoated plate, and that to bring those fields in, those fields in there.
And when you talk about nanocoated plate, you're talking about making plasma. Is that linked in with making plasma, what you're showing us there?
Yeah, it's all linked to making plasma. It's
okay.
all. See, because remember, I'm making the plasma, I'm actually making it firsthand. So that there is going to be, I'm going to show you something now. I've been dying to actually show you. You can feel it. It's phenomenal. This one here is for energy. This plasma here. Cool. This plasma is for energy, right? Yeah. The CH3, phenomenal. Now, I've got some already. What I would do is this. I would take a syringe. I would take this syringe here, and then I would extract the water. But you see on the bottom, that's the gases at the bottom.
Yeah, it's separate.
The orange.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the gas at the bottom. So then what I would do now is this. I would take that. I've already got some in a glass over here. I would take this here. Add another little glass up somewhere. And then what I'll do is this. I'll just extract some. And it looks a different colour. What it does is it's when I fill it up, which I'll show you in a minute, can you see it there? See that syringe?
Yeah.
So if you see that syringe there now, right? That's my screen. It's here. There is a lot to this. It's phenomenal. You see this here? I've got to show this on my channel. I'll show it. It's not. It's easy what people think. It's not as easy as what you think. It's not. It is. It's not that there's nothing that it's hard, but there are processes in place in order for us to access these superior states with the plasma. This here is a plasma activated stick.
Cool.
What this does is it pulses plasma fields into the water. So I'm not drinking normal water to do this.
No.
So what I'm going to do now is this. Let me show you some more magic. So what I'm going to do now is this. I'm going to take this. So anybody that's following what I do, you need this stick. But I have that much stuff to talk about.
How much is it? How much is a stick quickly? How much do they cost?
It's not even expensive. You can get that for about 70 quid.
Okay.
But it will last you forever.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, perfect.
This stick here, and I could send you the links as well. I'll send the link because you can get plasma. People can go and get Gans and look all over the place. But if you just stick to where I can send you the links, I can make sure that you can get them properly, because I know a doctor in there who's very, very genuine. So I can get it. You can get it proper and there's not going to be no mess about it. Now, what I'm going to do is this, right? I'm going to take that this syringe here. Yeah. Now remember, this normally burns, doesn't it, when you take it up
Yeah,
your nose?
normally aged urine, but it's got a hydrogen tablet in it, isn't that one, hasn't it? So
this has got 2 hydrogen in it. 2
hydrogen tablets in it. Cool.
But guess what I'm going to put in it now? I'm now going to add the plasma of carbon and hydrogen into it now.
Oh, okay, cool.
Now I've just created an interaction between molecular hydrogen, aged plasma, carbon and hydrogen of plasma. So carbon and hydrogen of plasma, molecular hydrogen matter state, and aged urine combined.
It's a freeway. There's a freeway dance going on there.
What happens? I'll tell you what happens. When you drink that, it will go straight to your. This is what I mean. When I added the plasma, this is how I know. I tested all this out, like, to make sure. I didn't want to come out and speak about some stuff, whatever. It's not right with that, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. When you have the CH3, there are times I thought, is this thing real? Is it what go? I noticed that when I don't add it to this, the mixture's not the same.
Right. So the essential element is the CH3 plasma. The plasma is essential.
Lifts everything up. Yeah. So when you do your plasma before you do your aged urine, it lifts the aged urine state up.
It's fascinating. Alchemically transmuting to a high vibration if they were both used individually, right? So if you used it plasma individually, very powerful, aged urine powerful, but together, wow. I'm saying, like, blast off.
Yeah. You put them all together. Now the thing is this: when I taste that now, it's just like water.
Really? Oh, very surprising. Oh. Tastes good.
Because the CH3, the water quality of it's really, really, it's just like a real pure water. Now you see these fields, they're little suns, and they're alive. So my very first plasma in there, it's conscious. It moves when I move. When I move it, it moves. When you put these next to your heart, you can feel them. When you go into when I go into the kitchen, where we are at, we don't want to have any negativity because we can feel it now. This is what it's done. My partner's less conscious than me, obviously, which is normal, and it's made her. I've been trying to get her to see the metaphysical side with your emotions and so on and so forth. Yeah. Everything's a study for me, and I've learned so much that these people, they can't see. They don't realise that because they are lacking in energy, that their mind, it's very dense. Because it's very dense, it's in that matter state. It's in a mode. They're in a mode of self-harm, self-harm to the self and others, because that's what stagnation does to the field. Now, then, when I take that, when I take this now, I will then take that, and then what I'm going to look to do is this. Very, 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 very careful. I'm going to take it, and then I shall fill it up. Can you see that there? You can just see that cutter.
Yeah, we can see.
I'll fill this up to the top, Harry, like this. I want you to see this. I want everybody to know that what they've got here. Right. Now this, you just pull it out of the air. And you never, ever, ever. And then if I put this on my body and mix it, if I take this, I could mix this with foods.
With what? Foods, you said?
Foods, yeah.
Foods, foods, yeah. Yeah, cool.
So remember do you remember when I showed you the water was clear?
Yeah.
Remember when I showed you it was clear? Now look at it.
Whoa, yeah.
Look at that.
Whoa.
How murky that is.
Yeah, pretty murky.
But the fields will separate and it will come back clear again. It will come back clear as day. And the fields, remember I showed you at the bottom?
Yeah.
The fields, they perturbate the energy, the plasma. They push the plasma fields into the water.
Cool.
Into the water. That's how they interact. That's how they work. But these fields are all around us, but you can't see them. But the only way that you can see them is when you energize a plate like this. I try not to even touch this.
And again, this is the plates you talked about earlier that make the plasma gans, are a part of it, right? What did you call them? Plates?
Well, this was a normal copper plate.
Copper plate, okay.
And then I've nano coated it.
Oh, right.
To match the nano layers in your skin.
Right. Okay.
And that's when your sun gazing. That's what's happening. You're pulling in amino acids, hydrogens, and everything because you're water being. So it's interacting through your skin. You're pulling them in through your skin, and then it's entering your waters. Cool. And that's how you get your benefit. And that's how then you get your benefits through the sun, which is what you should be doing, which is fantastic. But then obviously, as we go along and increasing field strength, then you become closer to the sun because the sun is also emitting the same field, pushing them same fields into this place. That is what's happening. So that's how you get something like this. So then now you have a mixture here where it's all interacting with itself. When I put it on my skin, When I put this on my skin and put it on my nose, yeah, and when I go out to breathe, my capacity to breathe not only flies up more, but I can now feel the environment coming towards my skin. Yeah. So you can feel, if I put my head out the window, right, you can feel that the air, it's like it's coming straight through, you're going straight through your pineal, and as it's charging you. So now the air to me, it's not air, I can feel an energy. There's this clean energy in the air. But as you raise up your state, and you raise up in energy, then you start to be able to become more.
So you're literally, in a way of putting it, you're becoming more sensitive to things that we can't normally see in every day now that you're doing this thing. Wow.
Yeah. With the age during everything, that's what's happening. And then you're feeling the negative emotion in the fields of others. And then what's happening is they can feel it as well. They can feel it as well also. And it's like it's finding some type of threat. So you now know that you're somehow different to them. And then this is where we have a divide coming with it.
Yeah, almost like if you want to say someone that's enlightened fully, if you believe in that stuff, and then there's other people that are not, and you can experience like this dichotomy between what you know and what they're feeling is different. So yeah, I understand where you're coming from. That is different.
And then the other thing is this is sodium hydroxide, sodium hydroxyl. So if I then just take a little I'll just grab this little knife or something. 2 seconds, little flop. If I just take this sodium hydroxide here, as soon as I take that, and then I add the sodium chloride into that as a salt, and then what I'll do, this stuff's really it's really it'll burn you. Yeah, you can't get it on your skin or anything. And then all that you're doing is that's how you make hummus.
Right, you're making hummus right now from those. Okay.
Kind of. Caustic, yeah. But you ain't gonna get that. But that then you would need that to somehow settle. Yeah. But that isn't what we're doing. So that isn't what we're doing. Because so that here, this process here now is messy. Because I can't drink that stuff. It would kill me. Can't drink that stuff.
Wow. Okay.
But then you're drying it out and you extract it. The plasma, the Gans isn't like that. What we're doing is we're using magnetism, we are matching the field strength of the fields, like there's something called graphene, which is fantastic stuff. It's phenomenal. They're using it for all sorts to create craft and everything. And the graphene is on the front of the plate, and it's a carbon as well. So what we're doing is we're using fields, we're creating fields to then attract more fields. That is what we're doing, and it's a very, very clean process, but it can be a lengthy process depending on how you're going about it. Like what I'm doing is creating my own plasma using my own plates in order to do that.
And at some point in the future, will you be teaching us how to do plasma Gans and step-by-step guide on your channel, or would you be?
Yes.
You will?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
That is what I am trying to do. What I am not trying to do. That is what I am doing now, but I'm doing it in stages. There's also nanotech as well. See this stuff here? This is nanotechnology, right? It's a nano spray, right? This is where we're heading to. So this is connect. You might like this. This is connected to your vitamin D receptors.
Cool. Could you put it a bit bigger? Could you put it a bit bigger for us? I can't see the words. Yeah.
Can you see that now?
Yeah, there we go.
It's called a nanosoma. This, and it's they use it. Now these are nanoparticles, but these ones here, they find them in foods in like sugars, right? And what they do is because it's so small, so small, it can get into the places where other things cannot reach. Let's just see if we can just pull up 1 or 2 other bits and pieces on it. What I'll probably do is won't go into too much detail on it today.
And just a quick one, the plasma Gans is using nanotech. You're using nanotechnology as part of the manufacture of plasma Gans, essential process, right?
Well, you need to nano layer. You see, so obviously when you're talking nano, then so you're talking nanometers. So you're messing with atoms, which is the creation of all things. When you're creating nano layers, what we're doing here is we're energizing the plate and we're bringing the atoms to the surface.
Right. Okay.
So the atoms come. You can't see. See, this is all metaphysical stuff. So you can't see the atoms. You can't see. If you notice, if you can connect dots, a lot of the stuff that I'm bringing now It's doing things like this. Independent lab test metronidazole has demonstrated the ability to inhibit Zika, Ebola, SARS, West Nile. It can get rid of it all. Many other deadly diseases. How is it being done? See, like this nano spray, because it can get into the smallest areas that we cannot normally get to.
Right. Okay. Cool. Makes sense. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, that's how it's working. Yeah, it's phenomenal. So, it binds the vitamin D receptors and immune cells throughout the body to stimulate the immune system and inhibit a variety of disease processes. Yeah.
Right.
So
and quickly, the vitamin D receptors are in every cell of the body. So I'm guessing this thing can get into every single cell of receptor.
That's what it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it does. And that's not and that there isn't plasma. Yeah, that's not plasma. What we're working with there is a nanotech, but it's organic and natural. Yeah, because they get it from sugarcane, beeswax, and things like that. There's a big word for it. I did have it earlier somewhere. There's a big word for it. Polycolsenol. That's the one. Polycolsenol. And you see, like I was showing you there, it's that small. You can see how small it is here.
Yeah. Tiny. Yeah.
These inflated particles with the size less than 60 nanometers can penetrate through skin tissue, get into the bloodstream, get to all cells in the body, bind to vitamin D receptors, get into the nucleus of the cell, regulate the genes, and improve the immune system.
Cool.
Because it triggers the vitamin. We think vitamin C, we don't have it, but it triggers it for us. We think we don't have it, but it triggers it. You know, I mean, even this erythrocyte here is connected to hemoglobin, but that also has a buffer system. So there's loads of buffer systems that are in place. The rest, even the respiratory buffer system. So with the breathing, that's a buffer system. You've got all these different different buffer systems that are in place. But then if I then take you to say something like this one here, easy application of Gans water and hemoglobin wrap around patches for immunity and femur and hip joint regeneration.
And that's crazy because crazy. Huh. That's supposed to be really hard. That's supposed to be really hard to do, isn't it? You've got a metal plate according to modern pharma.
Yeah. Well, on my channel, I'm going to show you a man. They're in the hospitals because they're working with people at the moment who've got Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, epilepsy, and all sorts, cancers and everything. In Chinese hospitals, they're doing it. And I'm going to show you the video in the Chinese hospital of a man who is within 16 days, who disabled, cannot walk. He gets up, he gets in his car, and he walks, and he's normal in 16 days. Through the plasma. Through the plasma. Through the fields, because you are a plasma. So what it's doing is it's talking to your soul. It then talks to your soul, and then the soul starts to take over. The soul starts to take over, looking at a totally different thing. So if you look at this one here, can you see this is for femur and hip joint, again, regeneration. But look at what's being used. Heavy mixture of CO2 and zinc.
Zinc, say NO, zinc, okay. Yeah, and bone.
Zinc, it transforms in the plasma of zinc, could transmute itself. It shapeshifts. This is all proof. It shapeshifts into calcium when needed. But the zinc itself is a phenomenal sedative. Most illnesses people with sick, etc., they got a zinc deficiency, but it's coming from a zinc adrenal cortex. Yeah, coming from the pituitary adrenal cortex. Yeah, is a starting process, and it's a zinc deficiency. What keeps us from being in this sedative state that we are supposed to be in. You've got zinc in your semen. You've got the zinc in the
I was just thinking that whilst you're talking, surely this porn and masturbation and too much sex, even genitalia exiting, would like damage that for sure. Right. Yeah.
All of those continuously, all the time. And then obviously that is why I was saying again, so that's why we are supposed to be, that's why I have this. And that's why I say that we are supposed to be continuously recycling our field, which is what this is here. Yeah, that's why what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be continuously continuing this boom, 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 boom. That is how it is. All thing I was supposed to be. So when we have our sex, so that's why again things like the L-allergen, yeah, things like that, nitric oxide, they are connected. Both of them, if you have erectile dysfunction, it's because you're lacking in nitric oxide. You're lacking in L-arginine. Yeah. So your blood is not flowing correctly. And when you do this, it improves it. So some people take beets, they use beets as a plant because it contains a nitric oxide. What the nitric oxide does is it improves their overall performance.
Yeah, it does indeed. It dilates the blood vessels, the nitric oxide, and that relaxes the heart, relaxes the entire blood networks, and you now can deep breathe. And it does.
Yeah. And then you've got the hydrogen on top of that as well. Hydrogen on top of that again, which is removing inflammation, lactic acid burn. So then what's happening now? What's happening now is that what we find is we're then able to train more than we could do previously because of that.
Yeah, makes sense.
You know, which again is phenomenal. So I mean that was that, and then you can see here again. This is another person here where we put patches. You see, keeping the injured parts between the patches, you will be able to creating cleaning action and regeneration at the diseased area through an internal loop formed by attraction. So what happens is we put that one there's got a CO2. That's the CH3. This is CH3 that I've got here now. The way I'm just showing. So super energy, yeah. And these things here, they're working with the body. I'm just going to just bring up some slides. They're working with the body to bring about an internal balance. To bring about a balance. I just wanted to show some of these things I'm going to just go through them and show them. So if you see this one here, this book here, this guy, they record the soul leaving the body, recording what happens when you die. Also, we're recording what I was speaking about earlier outside of visible light. I'll show you outside of visible light now. So if you see this on the right hand side here, that's a man and a woman who are in love, and can you see this here is electricity.
Yeah,
that is their fingertips touching.
Right. Okay.
That's their fingertips touching, and we do this using a GDV bioelectrography. That's two human beings. So that is what you really are. That's why there's a guy called Jim Carrey, the comedian. Recently, he went and he said to people, because he's an occultist, like myself, being an occultist, you want people to know in a really weird way. So he's saying that we're all just tetrahedrons, energy fields bumping up against each other, and in fact, we don't really matter. And in this state, and they were saying to him, "What about these stars and the icons?" And he just laughed. He was saying, and he said he was going to shut the lady down now because he knew that she was just talking, it's all gibberish. Because they're taking these stars and the icon. What's an icon? You're taking the C out, but you've got ion. What's that? We're the ionosphere. What is a sphere? It's energy. In Hebrew, the word for a living being is nephesh, which is N-E-P-H, nephesh, which is a living being, which means breath, which is to breathe, which is, that was what we are, and that was how you defined the human being. Going all the way back in the beginning of our periods, you will find that is how you describe a human being is through actual breath. So that there then shows that. So we are a field of energy, this field of energy, and you are to charge our field, but we think that we are the body. And that's why I always talk about this ego thing. The ego is what the false ego is, it is when we think that we are actually the actual body. And then because we think we're the body, we align then with lower thoughts of the body, which is in the matter state. Because we don't realize that the core of what we really truly are, which is as a spirit soul, then what we do is we lessen ourselves.
Right, and that's where aged urine, plasma gans comes in. They'll give you a taste of those vibrations that you can feel, that we're not those things you just said. We are higher.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So then now we have the physical proof where we used to look at gurus, and gurus used to say to them, it's fantastic. You get into these states and then nothing affects your external, blah, 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 blah. And then people think, well, how am I going to do that when they're in this dense matter state? And nobody's explaining to them. Nobody's explaining about density. It's all of our codes reside with. It's why I always say there's nothing outside the self. What I mean by that is that all the codes reside within. all the codes reside within us. So that one there was showing, so you can see the fingers touching, but there they are here. We have a plasma pen. You can probably just see this, you can just see the hand there.
Yeah.
So here, this is the thyroid area here, the blue. This is the 7. These the green here. Yeah. But that green, remember I was saying earlier, that's why these two here, this L-theanine you get in green tea.
Oh, you do.
This
L-theanine you get in green tea. Yeah.
And it works with blood pressure, and it works. It's going to give you.
Doesn't it boost the mood as well? Mess about with the mood, enhance the
immune system, all sorts. Major positivity. They both end in 9. What does Urine do? It's 9. It's 9. 9. 9. It's 9. Then what happens then is we then have. I'll just get my other. Just grab that other slide. So just have it. You then have this here. So that growth hormone I was speaking about earlier, is part of this FGF family.
Right. Okay.
FGF family. Right. Now you get in FGF 21 is what gets released when through Starbucks when we're in a dry fast. That then creates massive energy expenditure within the body. This is what you see. This L-theanine as well. I didn't mention that. It controls the hormones and it increases the insulin. And this is what happens with the FGF, and then it goes and transmutes itself to nitric oxide, which drastically improves your blood flow and everything else. But then then it's connected to this FGF family because there's 22 of the growth hormone family, 22, and 22 is the number of our mother, and 22 also equates to vegan, vegetarian, virgin, and all those things. Yeah, these are, and 22 will give us a dilemma, because when you go into that fasted mode, initially you're in a bit of a dilemma, aren't you? Initially, because should I eat? Should I eat? And that's how language and this realm and number actually then is actually speaking to us. It's actually speaking to us. And then I just wanted to show this today on my channel. There was a guy, I've took his name out because. By the
way, quickly, your channel is what is it again? What's your channel name?
Transmutation 2020.
Transmutation 2020. Cool.
Transmutation 2020. There's a few things I want to show. There's a testimonial. There's a guy, and he brought it through. But there's a few things that I wanted to be able to show. One of them I'm going to show is this. You've seen the geocentric flat Earth cosmic model, yeah? Yeah. You see, you know how that works. Well, that is what I've got. So that there, you see that what you've just seen here, that what I've just shown you there, right? If it can go, hopefully I've got it because what I did is I took a load of slides. So if I haven't got it on here, then all I'll do is, because what I do is I get a picture to myself and I don't like to lose nothing. So then what I'll do is if I haven't got it, then I should just go and grab it.
Sure.
It's literally the cosmology, which is going to give you this true Earth cosmology. I don't think I've put it on here actually now. Here's another one anyway that we could use. We could use this instead. Use that one instead. Right. So that what I just shown you, and then if you see that here.
Right. Yeah. Toroidal fields. There we go. Isn't it?
Yeah. So you see that across the middle here is this green. There's a plane across the middle here, and that's where we reside. But then that's a field. That what you're looking at there is a perfect field. Yeah. So then if that is the field, right? So then what you've got then, if I then come back out of that, and I'll just go straight back into it a minute, and then what I'll do is I'll bring back up that same image for you, because I want you to want us to know something. Is that a place is a plane, and a plane is a plant, and all of them are born from a plasma. They're all of them are born from a plasma. So what you could see there, what you can see right there now, what you're looking at, is the way is a plant, is a tree and a plant, and what we thought that the plant eats food. Now, I want to show, I've just set myself those, I posted, the way that we perceive reality manifests the reality that we experience. The way we perceive the reality, it then manifests, and that is the reality we experience because we perceive it in that way. So what I mean by that is, because when we look at it, like in all this time, we didn't realize I have the consciousness to know that we don't eat plants to heal. But we think that because we've been told we're a heterotroph,
right?
Which means that we're a consumer of secondhand energy. So that makes us think that we need to go and eat the plant, right? We consume, right? So what's actually happening is this: if the plant, it's a reactor. So what's actually happening is these circles, these lines that you can see here. This is the flow of energy around the plant. This is the same flow of energy that I was explaining about when I was talking about the phosphate. The parathyroid hormone releases the phosphate with the calcium. It reabsorbs the calcium, lets out the phosphate deliberately for you to drink, and then you recycle it. And when you with your waters, which is your semen as well, we are to try to do that at the same time also with that as well. But in a different fashion, because what we do then is we don't let that go. We don't let that go. We let that flow. We use the breathing. And then later on, if we can get that partner, the feminine, the passive, then we can mirror nature and create a masculine and feminine flow of energy, which is what you can see there. Because you see in the middle of this, can you see that line across the middle?
Yeah, center point of some sort.
Yeah, so that's a plane. So that line across the middle, though, that line across the middle is now a plane. I hope you can still see the screen because I've just got those two images.
Yeah, we can see the image. Yeah, the image of it.
Right. So that there is the same as the Earth. So what I was just trying to show you is this here. Is so that one right there. So then this is where we are.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, that's a dielectric field with a plane of inertia in the center. Now, what happens is all things return back to this very center point in the middle here. There's a light point there. That's how that there is a plasma field. It's a plasma field. Plasma field, because a plasma field is loads of magnetic fields come together. So that is what that is, and it's based on plasma. Yeah. And this
quickly, when you said plasma field is based on a magnetic field, so plasma is really strong magnetism, like a really unimaginably strong magnetism in a way of looking at it.
Just to get a plasma field is lots of magnetic fields coming together to create one plasma field.
Right, I see. Huh.
And then this is one little field of magnetism. Magnetodielectric field. Yeah. Born out of plasma. Then this field then perturbates plasma.
Cool. Definitely, in a lesser form, grounding makes us more magnetic because magnetic field from the ground is like absorbed into our skin and through us, so we can use grounding as a tool to raise our vibration. Right.
Now this is why you. Now let me explain again. Now what you're doing is you're becoming the plant. When you're sun gazing, I've seen you when you're doing it. It's good. What's happening is you are becoming the plant again. The plant is an elemental that can connect with you on a conscious level and an emotional level. So when you put your feet into the ground, you are then matching your field strength with the field strength of the earth, of our mother. That's how it works. So her field strength is connected to us, and she has a resonance of 7.8, which is going to give you pH. Yeah. And so then that's what happens. So a lot of these plasmas that we're working with here, they're connected to the Earth's field strength. But there are ways, much more advanced levels.
That's a really good point. Actually, said it was 7.8. Didn't think of that until you said it. 7.8 Schumann resonance, 7.8 pH. There's a connection there. And pH, right. 7.8 is alkaline, isn't it? It's kind of alkaline state.
And the numbers 7.8 equate to the words pH.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And that, And then I think 7 and 8 can give you 6, and to tell you who you are. Yeah. So what it's doing, the way that the numbers work then is there's a magic involved in them through wisdom, which is then enabling us to actually access divine truth.
And
because
also,
then
isn't the seawater pH 7 or 8 too? It's around that, I heard.
it's
7, 8,
around
9.
8. Yes, smack on.
Yeah.
It's around
Yeah.
8.
Huh.
Yeah.
Another
And it has the
coincidence.
bicarbonate. It's amazing. It has the bicarbonate, but they're saying it's getting a bit too much, carbonic acid in there, and so on and so forth, because they want to say, look, this is what you are doing. You're causing these issues upon the earth. And then you see, like at the minute now, you will start to see a lot of this in the sky. We're surrounded by these fields. See this here? These are gases. These are gases. I've taken this myself. Those are gases in your environment. The reason that they are purple is because of the oxygen and the nitrogen fields. That's what makes it purple. Due to the water, do you know how it's done? It's due to the water vapor. The water vapor, causes that. So this image here lets me know that we are surrounded by water.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense.
And then if I go to that one, then if you see this here, geoglyphs. A lot of researchers, these guys here have done a lot of research into this that I've got here. So if you see here, it says red auroras.
Do you want to put it a bit bigger if you can?
See, a lot of people don't know about all this. A lot of people don't know, and a lot of people think things are happening that are not going to happen. And it's crazy the way things are working now. There's a lot of truth that's coming. A lot of people think that it's climate change and it's CO2 that is causing issues, but it's not. It's a buildup of plasma, which is a buildup of energy, which creates a buildup of heat. And that's why you get fires and stuff, because oxygen and hydrogen split, and it creates that. And then what happens is plasma. That's why in Australia you've seen these fires, and afterwards it was quickly followed up by rain, because that's plasma. That's how plasma creates water.
Is that the plasma energy that's coming in for 2020 that's sweeping nations as we enter a new age? Is that what we're talking about here?
Yeah, and that's what I'm showing you right now. Yeah. So if you look at this here, can you see what it says? The sky's red. These were red auroras were considered a sign of ill omens during medieval times, and pilgrims were organised to avenge the wrath of heaven. Brilliant displays have frightened people as recently as this century in regions where aurora sightings are rare. Right now, there is no coincidences. That's why you see me here, see us here now, working with something, right? That actually removes all bodily negativities. And it actually removes negative emotion. It removes the pain and the suffering that people have been suffering with for years. And that's how we're healing people. They're healing people in hospitals. I'm going to show it on my Prentation 2020 on my channel. On this video that I've got here, you can see it live, that the medication gets put to one side and the person says, I feel a need to live now because I can't believe how good I feel. And that's why I will not, and that's what the plasma does when you take it. So it says here, in an intense aurora, the gig ampere current flow consignment strong magnetic field produces a major change in the auroral height profile because of the intense plasma flow, strong longitudinal magnetic field. Now that's the energy we're working with here. It's strong longitudinal waves. So the energy we're working with here is like a tsunami compared to the usual energies, the usual electrical energies that we are currently working with. So that there, so I want to show that one. And then like when you see things like this that you would have seen in the past, things like that one here, ancient, you see like the Aboriginal tribes, etc. They've been telling you that things came from the sky, but we didn't understand what they meant. Yeah. So you see that here, the left northern hemisphere petroglyphs from the Columbia River. Yeah, you can see that. Yeah, that's why if you look at that, this jar here, you would think, why would they draw that? Why did they draw these things in the ground? Because the sky was much different to how it is now. Much different. But it's becoming more like that. Because, at the minute, I've got videos on here as well, you can see where plasma fields, you can see them in the sky. They move, they dance and stuff. The plasma is conscious and in its spirit. So as it comes in, it's going to make this place a lot more spiritual than what it is now. And that is just a byproduct, a natural byproduct of where we are and where we're at. But it's not something that we've realized. I mean, so that's, you can see that purple there. Now, if you see, so it changes. So this one here now, this one here, can you see that one here? I've taken this.
Oh, cool.
Can you see orange?
Yes, I can.
So
yeah.
these are orange gases. These are orange gases in the environment. These are orange gases in the environment. So all of these gases, like I say, they all reside, and they are all sitting within our environment. And what they are doing is interacting with us. Like you can see, someone's taken that picture there. See, that's plasma.
Cool. Yeah.
That's all right. Yeah. So as we now start to merge with superior energies, as we raise our internal state of energy, what's actually happening is that we are moving higher and higher and higher upwards towards the outside, of the visible light spectrum, which is then allowing us to experience a lot more than what we could have previously. So what does this mean? So in truth, our soul does not need a physical structure to exist in the universe. However, to exist on Earth, under these conditions, we need to create a physical structure which will house and protect our soul. The physical body has to be able to receive and process energy to support the emotional soul, the emotional and the soul part during our life cycle as a physical human. Our whole body and all its organs and functions are housed in this body, protected in some way by the hard skeleton structure. So our soul resides within your heart. There's a SIM card. It's called the Jiva. Jiva, super soul. Little bit in your heart. And there's also within the center of your brain as well. And that's how the magnetism is being controlled and directed from that area. And what it's then doing is it's then looking to control the body, based on our emotional state and based on our frequency and how risen we are, on the state that we are, but based on the amount of energy that we are holding on to in order to make that happen, in order for the soul to start to take over the body. When the soul starts to take over the body, then the soul starts to interact with the elements that are outside, and then what happens is then it then pulls those elements in through the actual skin, and then they are used when required. So that's why you have different temperatures. You have the outside skin, you have your outside skin temperature, which is then different to your internal. So literally speaking, these are the ways. They're just trying to pull up something else to show here. So it says here, so the bone structures throughout your body are controlled by the emotional part of your brain, right? It is so vital to the continued existence of the soul that it does not allow any other part of the body to control the bones, right? If the current health system could understand this connection, then they will understand how easily through the emotional part they can control all the diseases through the bone and the structure of the bone and the marrow. Also using the lymph, or what's actually happening here is as well, we're also using the lymph in order to be able to make this happen as well, because it's using the lymph system to push the gases, the elemental gases, throughout the actual body structure.
Fabian, can I ask something that I don't think is quite related, but it's kind of related? So when I keep the body still for a long period of time, and the longer I keep it still, and anyone that does this too, you'll find that your bones start to get really painful. Your bones, like you aren't even normally aware of your bones. Is that linked in with that? Like, because it gets really painful. It feels like my bones are like trying to break free and causing pain the longer I stay still.
It's funny you say that. Yeah, it's funny you say that, because there's something connected to do. I've got to do with the balls of your feet and the weight. Then when you walk, the distribution of the weight when you walk releases energy at the same time as well. And that's something that I'm going to be, before I speak about it further, we'll go into that as well. So
cool. Yeah, I look forward to that.
There's loads. I mean, I'm just sat here right now, just thinking about the amount of things. There's lots of other stuff as well. There's lots of other stuff as well that I did have. Just wanted to show one other thing actually. This is from somebody today. So just so that people know, you can see yourself about how it works. So this person here, this gentleman, Mike, I've been speaking to him, been helping him, and now he's got his Gans, and my experience mirrors his experience. And this is how I know, how I always know truth, because through mirror reflection. Yeah. So he says, "Hey Fabian, okay, cool, thanks. Things are going great. The Gans is truly magical. So excited about it. It is really such an amazing and helpful key in my pursuits of becoming breatharian and deeply healing on every level." Right. And the reason that he said that instantly is because he's noticed that it's instantly removed his appetite to eat.
Oh wow, it's taking his appetite. Awesome. That's good, man.
and that is only really small amounts.
Well, yeah.
When it's taking your appetite to eat, yeah, that is only like really a really small amount, because he's obviously bought some Gans, which is only really small bottles. I encourage people to begin. I'm encouraging people, teaching people on my channel to start making their own, because like I say to you, this will give you back your wealth and abundance. Ever since we've been on the phone, it's already started separating.
Huh. Cool. Yeah.
There it is. So when I shake it now like that, see? And that's how the gas is.
And you're going to take it quite cheap as well. Lee was telling me it's quite cheap, that you're planning to get people to do it on a cheap basis, because it can be quite expensive for people if they do it for other channels. No,
it's If they do it in the way that I'm saying, it's not going to cost them hardly. It's not going to cost them anything. It's only going to cost them probably a really small amount. I mean, the most expensive thing that you'll need to buy when you start drinking the Gans is the plasma activated tube.
Yeah. That costs 70 quid roughly. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, it's roughly around that sort of figure. That one there. Yeah. And that you need that just to put into your waters. You have to use distilled waters. It won't work with any other waters. So you put that into your distilled waters, and then you use that to tip back into your plasma. And then that is, so the water that I'm drinking with the plasma isn't distilled water. It's plasma. This is plasma activated water.
Right. Yeah.
And then that is our plasma fields in water. That then plasma fields in water. So then what I've discovered, is that the body, like I say, just like with the age, like I found with the age during previously, this energy compounding, the body responds to higher levels of energy. The more you give it, the more the soul will start to use it. When you use the plasma, the higher emotions that are coming in from the soul, it's like a 99 floor elevator. The emotions, you can just keep going and going, and the higher you go, higher you go with your emotional field, the higher that you will go with your physicality towards ascending into your true spirit matter form.
Right. Yeah.
Right now in this on this physical plane.
Yeah. That sounds awesome and ambitious, and I can't wait to start myself getting into plasma Gans, and you teaching us more for it.
Yeah, for what you're doing with the sun, this will be absolutely phenomenal. You will just not be able to believe that you can increase your field strength. You can increase your field strength, and then you can increase the amount of elemental charge that is just coming in directly through your skin. And it's something that you can physically feel happening straight away. And then you've then got the ability to be able to create patches, because what we will be showing going forward is I can take your normal food, and I can mix it with these plasma activated waters, and then I can create patches and put the patches on my body, so that and then draw the elements that I was getting from the food in, because they exist everywhere, so that then you don't need to eat.
Cool.
That's how it works. This is the future. It's the future.
I think you're speaking.
Don't need that system. We don't need food. You put patches on. You can put patches of the food on your body, and then you're feeding your physical body, and then you're feeding your emotional bodies. You're feeding your metaphysical bodies, and then that way, then what is happening? You're becoming more like a plant. Your digestion. You're not suffering. You're not having this imbalance going on within the body at all with the buffering systems. And then what's happening now is that the physicality can concentrate on ascending and aligning with the soul, and then we can start to ascend into a plane of perfection.
Yeah, I love everything you just said, and I'm totally fascinated again by your talk, and wow, this is it. I think this is the future, and I'm happy to learn more from you and watch your channel and stuff. And people really should check out the plasma Gans and how to make it. And I can't wait myself personally to start cracking on with it. Like,
this is the game changer. That's it. All happiness is here. It's here.
Definitely. So, any last words before to conclude, or you happy to conclude on this note, or is there anything else you'd last quick message to give to people?
Yeah, I'd pretty much go from there. The age urine group's really vibrant, which is what we want, which is fantastic. I would just say to people that the codes, everything is residing within us, and it is accessed by energy compounding, by charging the soul with superior forms of energy, which we have here, and by doing that, then we can actually govern our physicality, govern our state of being, all through our emotions.
Powerful, brother. And thank you very much for the presentation. And we do, Fabian, carry on the amazing work. Your channel is Transmutation 2020, right, on YouTube?
Yeah.
So people can check you out there. Add you on Facebook too. You got any other platforms that you?
I was sticking to mostly those two at the minute. Those two are working really well for me. So
cool.
That's where you can find me.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. This was Harry, Holistic Health Harry, Alkalized Talk Show with Fabian, the Upgrade Band. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
That was only